This presentation will help you understand the elderly report form and give you a better understanding of each offense category. The table of contents shows us what we will discuss. You can listen to the whole presentation or skip ahead to any of the sections listed. To get started, open up the elderly report. Click on Enable Editing. Fill out the agency and month/year fields with your agency name and the month/year of the report that is being submitted. What gets reported? Offenses committed against persons 60 years of age and older. There are 5 different offense categories listed below: abuse, neglect, exploitation, isolation, and abandonment. Click File, Save As to save report. Once completed, send report to the following email. If you have any questions, please contact the UCR program. The first category we will discuss is abuse. The first definition of abuse is as follows: infliction of pain or injury, deprivation of food, shelter, clothing, or services which are necessary to maintain the physical or mental health. No physical contact. If it is a family member or legal guardian, then it is a 90F family offense. For 90F, it must be a family offense. If it is a non-family member or non-legal guardian like a nurse, then it would be a 90Z. The second definition of abuse is as follows: infliction of psychological or emotional anguish, pain, or distress through any act without limitation. Threatening, intimidation, controlling intimidation, or socially isolating. No physical contact. If it is a family member or legal guardian, then it is a 90F family offense. For 90F, it must be a family offense. If it is a non-family member or non-legal guardian like a nurse, then it would be 90Z. The third definition of abuse is as follows: disregarding the needs of, no physical contact. If it is a family member or legal guardian, then it is a 90F family offense. For a 90F, it must be a family offense. If it is a non-family member or non-legal guardian like a nurse, then it would be a 90Z. The fourth definition of abuse is as follows: harming, damaging, or destroying any property, including pets. The fifth definition of abuse is as follows: non-consensual sexual contact with, including a person that is unable to communicate his or her objection, or rape, sodomy, or sexual assault with an object. The sixth definition of abuse is as follows: intentionally touching, either directly or through the clothing, of the genitalia, anus, groin, breast, inner thigh, or buttocks of the person, or fondling. The seventh and last definition of abuse is as follows: permitting any of the acts described above. The next category we will discuss is neglect. Neglect is the failure of a person or a manager of a facility who has assumed legal responsibility or a contractual obligation for caring for a person, or who has voluntarily assumed responsibility for his or her care to provide food, shelter, clothing, or services which are necessary to maintain the physical or mental health of the person. If it is a family member or legal guardian, then it is 90F family offense. For a 90F, it must be a family member. If it is not a family member or a non-legal guardian, like a nurse, then it would be a 90Z. The third category we will discuss is exploitation. As you can see, there are two different definitions for exploitation. The first one we will discuss is NIBR's Code 26A, fraud, false pretenses / swindle / confidence game. The definition is as follows: any act taken by a person who has the trust and confidence of or any use of the power of attorney or guardianship to obtain control through deception, extortion / blackmail, or robbery or undue influence over the person's money, assets, or property. The second definition is NIBR's Code 210, extortion / blackmail. The definition is as follows: convert money, assets, or property of the person with the intention of permanently depriving the person of ownership, use, benefit, or possession of his or her money, assets, or property. The fourth category we will discuss is isolation. As you can see, isolation has three different definitions. The first definition of isolation is as follows: preventing a person from having contact with another person by intentionally preventing the person from receiving visitors, mail, or telephone calls, including communicating to a person who comes to visit the person, or a person who telephones the person that the person is not present or does not want to meet with or talk to the visitor or caller, knowing that the statement is false, contrary to the express wishes of the person, and intended to prevent the person from having contact with the visitor. If it is a family member or legal guardian, then it is 90F family offense. For a 90F, it must be a family offense. If it is a non-family member or a non-legal guardian, like a nurse, then it would be a 90Z. The second definition of isolation is as follows: physically restraining the person to prevent the person from meeting with a person who comes to visit. This could be aggravated or simple assault. The NIBR's Code for an aggravated assault is 13A. The NIBR's Code for a simple assault is 13B. The third and final definition of isolation is as follows: permitting any of the acts described above. This could be aggravated or simple assault. No physical contact. If it is a family member or legal guardian, then it is 90F family offense. For a 90F, it must be a family offense. If it is a non-family member or a non-legal guardian, like a nurse, then it would be a 90Z. The last category we will discuss is abandonment. The definition of abandonment is as follows: desertion in an unsafe manner or withdrawal of necessary assistance by a caretaker or other person with an obligation to provide services. There is no physical contact. If it is a family member or legal guardian, then it would be 90F family offenses. For a 90F, it must be a family offense. If it is not a family member or a non-legal guardian, like a nurse, then it would be a 90Z.